Let's talk about some weird things having to do with the Tesla. In this case, I have a 2024 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. Don't know that that really makes any difference, but full disclosure. Anyway, the Tesla does some weird things as compared to other vehicles out there, things that you might not be used to. So I thought I would point some of those out so that you don't panic like I did last night when one of these things happens. First of all, noises. It makes noises. When it's just sitting there like it is now, every once in a while you'll hear like a thunk or a clunk or something coming from the rear end. It almost sounds like a relay contacting or brakes engaging. Something very strange. It does it rather frequently. You might hear it do it while we're on the video. But I noticed that shortly after I got the car, standing in the garage, and it just kind of starts talking to me. Next up, and this is what kind of freaked me out the other night. I came out in the garage for some reason. I heard a noise, a loud kind of motor running kind of noise. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I thought maybe it was outside, maybe there was a car in front of the house or something, which rarely happens here, but it wasn't. I discovered it was coming from the front end of the Tesla. It was a loud blowing kind of sound, like a motor was running. And I had it plugged in while it was charging, so I thought maybe it has something to do with that. I didn't know. So I opened up the car and there was air circulation or something going on inside the car. So I started to do a little bit of research and I discovered that it was a cabin overheat protection function. And apparently if it gets too hot inside the cab, meaning above, I forget, there's like 2 or 3 different settings, you can choose when this function kicks in. And from my research, it seems to me that the point of that is to keep the cab comfortable, or the interior, for when you get in. Now, I mentioned there are some different settings and you can turn it off. Let's take a look. Let's climb inside. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Gotta pull up the screen here and take a look. Let's see. You want to go ahead and hit the button there and then kill the radio, of course. And if you look over, let's see, I have to figure out where it is in here. We'll go to pedals and steering. I'm sure it's not that. Charging, no. Autopilot, locks, lights, display, trips, safety, service. Let's go to safety. And let's roll up a little bit. I'm sure it's got to be in here somewhere, isn't it? Cabin overheat protection. You can see it right here. Now, the way it's set, you can have it turned completely off, which I don't, no AC, or on. If I go to on, it gives you 3 different temperatures, I guess, where activation of this feature will occur. 90, 95, and 100. Mine was set at 100, and down here in deep South Texas, it gets pretty darn hot. So it was hovering right around 100 degrees in my garage. Very strange when you come out in the car, and it was running pretty darn aggressively. Now, the way this works, obviously, if you have it on, the air conditioning will kick on. That's to cool the cabin. Or you can have it set to no AC, which is where I'm running it, and that means it's going to just vent the cab, trying to keep hot air out of the cab. Now, what was more concerning for me, I guess, is whether or not this is healthy or not for the car itself. I mean, I really don't care about getting into a hot car. Not a big deal for me. But is there some reason with the batteries or maybe the screen inside that you need to have this operating so that things don't get damaged, I suppose? And from what I saw in my research, there is no legitimate reason to have that function even on. It's just the cab will be hot. However, Tesla suggests that you have it on, and I think the only reason they do that is to make sure that it's more comfortable for you. I'm going to leave mine set at no AC because frankly, I don't want it sucking battery, just to keep it a little bit cooler inside the car for me. Next up, it comes to life every time you get near it if you have it associated with the app. That noise is something I set. That is when it locks up after you walk away. And in a minute or two, if we're still on, you'll hear that clunk noise I'm talking about, because it always seems to do it right after the car locks up. And by the way, that noise is customizable. There are many different noises. You can even upload your own so that when the car locks up and you walk away, it makes a noise. Anyway, when you get close to it, like this, you should see maybe the screen light up inside. And of course, it's not going to do it now. It seems to be here or there. I mean, right now I'm close to it, and it's probably because it's still active. After about 15 minutes or so, I think, the car kind of goes to sleep. But if you get near it with your phone, like right now, I actually have my phone in my pocket, it senses that, and the car will wake up. The screen will light up, and I suppose it does that so that you can get in easily. I mean, I know it does. Right now, being as close as I am with the phone in my pocket, I could go ahead and open the door, get on, the car is running, all that kind of stuff, or at least cooling per the settings that I have it set at. So just be aware, if you ever walk by your car and it's parked and it comes to life, it's because it's sensing your phone, your app, maybe in your pocket. Number 4, front trunk closure or frunk closure. This is just kind of weird, I think. You know, the natural inclination, I think, when you're going to shut the frunk or the trunk, whatever you want to call the front trunk area, is to push on the emblem. Mine, by the way, you might notice is black. That's because I have modded it. It's an overlay. But anyway, when you shut it, you'd think you just push right down on the emblem. I think that's just a natural way to do it. But don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. What you're supposed to do is gently push down on each side of that emblem with 2 hands. And when I say gently, I mean gently. You don't slam it, you don't push it down really hard, and you don't have to, because it will engage with what I think is a pretty minimal amount of pressure. Just one of those strange things. I know when I first got the car, we opened it up to take a look in the front. I wanted to. And I went and pushed on that area and later discovered that can actually damage the mechanism. Lastly, and this is kind of a quirky thing, it's self-healing. Now, what I mean by that is it will update software periodically whenever Tesla sends something out. And what's cool is you can have it connected to the Wi-Fi in your house, and it will connect and update the software for any potential problems, fixes, or additions to the car. It's really kind of neat, and this is, in my opinion, much better than a traditional vehicle where you actually have to go to the dealership and have them reflash the system. I don't have to do that. It does it all right from home. Anyway, those are just a few weird, maybe quirky things about the Tesla that you may not know about, but you're definitely going to experience if you go ahead and buy one. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.